let's get started. For some of you who emailed me saying that they can't find Unit 2, just go to the content section, go down all the way to Mr. Khan's notes, and Unit 2 is under this category here. And Unit 3 is also available. And I've started posting Unit 4, and hopefully I shall complete it soon. So today we will be looking at Unit 2, Lesson 2. So let's just start. Synthetic division. Synthetic division is another method of dividing a polynomial with a binomial. The first method we learned was long division. So here we're going to learn how to do synthetic division, another method. All right, so let's do it. Okay. So part 1, synthetic division when the binomial is of the form x minus b. So here we're dividing this polynomial, this 4-term polynomial, by x minus 3. In this question, b is equal to 3 because we just substituted 3 there. So first thing, we list the coefficients of the dividend in the first row. So this polynomial is the dividend, and you're listing all the coefficients. So we have 3, then we have -5, then we have -7, we have -1. So we listed them. Okay. Then to the left, we write the b value. So b value being 3 in this case. And we place a plus sign above the horizontal line to represent addition, and an x sign below the horizontal line to indicate multiplication of the divisor and the terms of the quotient. Bring the first term down. This is the coefficient of the first term of the quotient. Multiply it by the b value and write this product below the second term of the dividend. So what you're doing is you always bring the first term down. So whatever the leading coefficient is, just bring it down, write it down at the bottom here, 3. Now we take this 3 and we multiply it by the value that's here. And 3 times 3 is 9. And we put that value to the next column. Now we are going to take the sum of these two values, -5 and 9. We add them together, we get 4. Then we take 4 and we multiply it by 3. And then we get 12. Moving on to the next column. Then we add, once again, -7 and 12, we get 5. So 5 times 3, we get 15. And then we add that. That's where the plus sign comes in here. You're kind of adding these values. And then what? Okay, so we add terms, multiply this sum by the b value, by the product below in the third term of the dividend. Repeat this process until you've completed the chart. Okay. The last number below the chart is the remainder. So this is the remainder, the last number. The first numbers are the coefficients of the quotient starting with degree that is 1 less than the dividend. So what does that mean? Well, what's the degree of our polynomial? What's the highest degree? It's 3. So 1 less than 3 is 2. What that means is this is going to be 3x squared plus 4x plus 5 is going to be our answer when we're dividing this polynomial by this binomial. And we have a remainder of 14. So the way to write that is to write it in our 2 ways. And hopefully you remember from last lesson. The 2 ways of writing this are taking our polynomial that was given here initially and dividing it by the binomial, and it's equal to this value plus 14 divided by x minus 3. That's one way of writing it. Or if we're going to multiply everything by x minus 3, then it's equal to the polynomial equals then this value times x minus 3 plus 14. So don't confuse the 2 different ways. Don't kind of have elements of one and the other. Understand which method you're writing it, and yeah, practice. Okay, so let's do example 1 now, shall we? Synthetic division. Here we go. We are going to make our kind of chart. We are going to write our b value. Remember, x minus b. What's my b value? B value has to be -2 in this case, because for us to get x plus 2, b value has to be -2. And we are going to write the coefficients here. So first coefficient is 1, then it's -2, then it's 13. Then it's -6. Oh, something tricky here. What's happening here? We have x to the power 4, x to the power 3, then we go to x to the power 1. We skipped a power in the middle, right? So does that affect our synthetic division? Yes, it does. You need to show the coefficient of every single, I guess, exponent from greatest to least, and there would be a 0 coefficient there. So understand that you cannot forget about those terms that aren't there. So 1, -2, then 0, then 13, then -6. Okay. Remember, we always bring down the first term, and then we multiply this value with the value here. So that's -2. And now what? -2. And then we add the columns. So -2 plus -2 is -4. Then we multiply -4 by -2, which is now +8. We add, it becomes 8. 8 times -2 is -16. Add them together. -3. -3 times -2 is +6. And then here we have a remainder of 0. Okay. So how do we write our final answer? What was the highest degree? It was x to the power 4. So this is going to be 1x cubed minus 4x squared plus 8x minus 3. And here I should actually make some space if I'm going to write it like that. So initially you write it like this, x to the power 4, our initial polynomial, divided by x plus 2 is equal to this plus the remainder. But we don't actually have remainder, it's 0. So we don't have to write plus 0 over x plus 2 because, well, 0 from anything is just 0, right? So we don't have to write that part. So this is the answer. This divided by that is equal to this. There is no remainder. Yeah, so that's one way of writing it, and then the other way of writing it is obviously just rewriting everything, but multiplying it every single term by the denominator. And these are the two different ways of writing your answer when you're dividing. So two equations mean exactly the same. And that's synthetic division. We'll do another example. Oh, wait. So remember, x minus b, so my b value in this case is 3. So that goes there. All the coefficients, so 2, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's fine. 2, -5, 8, and 4. And the first term always comes down. So we have 2. 2 times 3 is 6. -5 plus 6 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33. And then 37 is my remainder. The final answer is 2x to the power of 2 then plus x, or 1x, plus 11, with a remainder of 37 over x minus 3 is equal to our initial polynomial. Oh man, I'm going to run out of space. So that's one of the ways to write it. So always try to write your final answer in one of these ways. And there we go. Okay, they wrote it the other way, where they multiplied the denominator for every term. Yeah, let's do another example. So what's happening here now? In this example, our b value is -3/2. It's a fraction. Right, everyone can see, because if you're dividing by 2x plus 3, if you make it equal to 0, x is equal to -3/2. That's how you can solve for your b value. Just make the binomial equal to 0 and then solve for x. So we have x is equal to -3/2. Perfect. So we know our b value. B value goes here. That's fine. Our coefficients are 6, 5, -16, and -15. 6 goes down. Now what though? What do we do? How do we figure, how do we do this? Okay, let's see. To use synthetic division, the divisor must be in the form x minus b. Rewrite the divisor by factoring out the coefficient of the x. We can now divide this by x plus 3/2. Using synthetic division, as long as you remember to divide the quotient by 2 after. So what does that mean? Well, we bring down the 6, and 6 times -3/2 is -9, right? Then you add them together, you have -4. -4 times -3/2 is +6. Then you add them together, -10. And then -10 times -3/2 is +15. And they add them together, you get a remainder of 0. And the final step is to take these values of 6, -4, and -10 and divide them by 2. So our actual coefficients are 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. 3x squared minus 2x minus 1. Oh. And a mistake there. That -10 divided by 2 is actually -5. So apologies for that. And yeah, and then you rewrite it in one of the forms. 2x plus 3 was one of our factors that we're dividing by. We have a remainder of 0. So both factors. That's the answer. And let's do long division to see if that's true. Let's double check our work here. Let's erase the answer. And remember, long division and synthetic divisions are two different ways of doing the same thing. You should know both methods because some questions require you to use one over the other. But in most cases, you can use either or. So in this case, we have 6x cubed, 2x. We're going to multiply this by 3x squared, because 3x squared times 2x is 6x cubed. And then 3x squared plus 3x is 9x squared. And remember, we're subtracting these values, so this becomes 0. 5 minus 9 is -4x squared. Bring the -16x down. We know that to get -4x squared, we need to multiply 2x by -2x. -2x times 2x is -4x squared. And then -2x times 3 is -6x. Remember, there's a negative sign here, so we are subtracting these values. Negative plus 4 is obviously 0, and then -16 plus 6 is -10x, and then we have -15. That comes down. And 2x, for it to become -10, we need to multiply it by -5. So -5 times 2x is -10x, -5 times 3 is